It is Thursday, July 16th, 2026, and this is The High Road, Logistics and Leadership. I'm Jules Sterling, and I'm the one who makes sure the cargo and the conversation stays on schedule.
This is Buck Reynolds.
I'm Dan Miller.
And I'm Elena Rossi. We have a great show for you today.
Well, okay. Yesterday we were talking about that historic driver pay surge and those Tesla semi-tests in Chicago. But man, today the board is glowing red with some heavy news on the energy front.
Look, the board isn't just red, it's bleeding. We're talking 5 straight days of U.S. strikes in the Middle East, and oil is screaming past 85 a barrel.
It's the Islamabad Memorandum, or the collapse of it, actually. We're back to a full naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. And for risk management, well, it's a nightmare.
My thing is, well, here's the deal. When the Navy starts disabling tankers with hellfires, like that MT Belma yesterday, that diesel surcharge at the pump is going to hit like a freight train.
It's already hitting. Diesel jumped 22 cents in a week. Look, this isn't just volatility. This is a total stress test of the global circulatory system. I mean, we're talking about war risk insurance premiums hitting 6% of the vessel's value. That's insane.
Right? And, my retail clients are sort of panicking about the Jones Act waivers. They need that fuel moving domestically. But if Iran starts tagging regional storage in Kuwait or Jordan,
which they already have. CENTCOM confirmed kamikaze drone strikes on fuel sites in Jordan this morning. It's no longer a what-if scenario. It's a right-now catastrophe.
The bottom line? The Treasury is going after the shadow fleet, and Trump is threatening wider attacks. If you're running freight right now, your fuel budget just became a work of fiction.
You know, it's like I always say, the highway is the nation's blood, and right now, the heart is struggling. We're going to see a lot of carriers who didn't hedge their fuel costs just flatline.
But look, it's not all doom and gloom on the ledger. J.B. Hunt dropped their Q2 earnings this morning, and they actually beat the street.
I suppose a beat is relative when you've been in a 3-year recession, right?
True, but Hunt is the barometer. They're the canary in the coal mine, and the canary just started singing again. Their intermodal volume is rebounding, stronger than we've seen in 12 quarters.
Well, okay. That's sort of a major signal. If BNSF and Walmart's assets are finally humming together, it means the bottom is behind us, right?
Exactly. They focused on revenue quality over volume. It's a strategic play. They cut their capital expenditure by $300 million and focused on the lanes that actually pay.
I mean, that's fine for the big dogs, Dan, but the average cost to run a rig is $2.34 a mile now. That's a record high.
Actually, ATRI just confirmed that. Non-fuel costs are up 4.2%. Repair, maintenance, tires, they're all outpacing inflation.
Right, but that's why the J.B. Hunt news is the play. They're showing that if you have the discipline to weather the capacity purge, the margins are coming back. It's like the fourth quarter and the defense is finally tired.
I mean, I love the optimism, Dan, but we're sort of seeing a divide. The financial survivors are using tech to bridge that gap. Speaking of tech, C.H. Robinson just dropped a bombshell with their lean AI engineer.
More silicon drivers? Great.
Well, sort of. But this isn't just a chatbot, Buck. They're saying this agentic AI is handling 92% of their 4PL shipments now.
92%? My thing is, what happens when a shipment of hazardous materials gets rerouted by an algorithm that doesn't understand the liability of a bridge height?
Well, that's the thing. They're claiming it does. It's doing in 30 minutes what used to take 4 weeks of manual data crunching. One account saved $1 million a year just by resyncing their shipping schedules to weekly runs instead of random as-needed drops.
Look, This is what Redwood's CIO was talking about at the symposium yesterday. We're crossing the trough of disillusionment. The AI isn't just advising anymore. It's executing. It's moving beyond the hype.
Here's the deal, Jules. An AI can reorganize a spreadsheet all at once, but it can't smell a wheel bearing that's about to weld itself to the axle. It's all clean data until a truck is sitting on the shoulder in a blizzard.
Right, but if the AI frees up the dispatcher to actually help the driver in that blizzard?
If the dispatcher still has a job.
I'm sorry. Actually, that is the risk. We're automating the administrative layer, which is fine, but it creates a massive execution gap when the messy reality of freight interferes with the perfect digital plan.
Before we dive into the safety reports, we have a quick note from our sponsor. Strategic logistics requires world-class engineering. This show is powered by the stack developed by Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media. Support the architect behind the code. Visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Neural Network Media for a free trial and access to our daily briefing PDF.
Now it's time for From the Sleeper Cab, our Thursday segment where we get real about the actual costs of being out on the blacktop.
Ready for the gut check, Buck?
Always. Listen, I was looking at that Atri report from yesterday. $234 a mile. Let that sink in. When I started, you could live like a king on half of that. Now, if you aren't watching every penny, you're just a volunteer.
Is it really just the fuel, though? You know, the surcharge sort of covers that, right?
No, that's the thing, Jules. Non-fuel costs are the silent killer. Repair and maintenance is up nearly 9%. Tires are up 6%. And tolls? Tolls jumped 13%.
It's the infrastructure maintenance being passed down to the carriers.
Exactly. But here's the flip. The spot market just jumped the fence. For the first time in years, contract rates are in the rearview mirror. If you've kept your rig together through this great recession, the wind is finally at your back.
It's a supply-driven recovery, right? Not because demand is sky high, but because so many trucks have been pushed off the road by these costs.
You hit the nail on the head, Dan. It's a survivor's market. But don't go out and buy a fleet of new trucks just yet. You gotta keep that strategic discipline. If you're a driver out there, you need to be your own accountant first and a steerer second. That's From the Sleeper Cab for this week.
Moving from the ledger to the law, we are currently in the middle of Operation Safe Driver Week.
Right, the Blitz. My play is stay off the radar this week.
Actually, Dan, it's not just speeding. The CVSA is targeting reckless, careless, or dangerous driving, but they've added a massive layer of ELD scrutiny.
Here's the deal. Didn't the FMCSA just purge a bunch of those devices?
10 of them, just last week. On-time logs, Porter ELD, they're all gone. Revoked for failing functional specs. If you're using one, you've got until September 8th to swap it out, or you're out of service. Period.
Well, okay. That's sort of a mess for the smaller fleets. It's hard to stay compliant when the logistics Bible keeps changing its chapters, right?
It's about fraud prevention, Jules. These were software clones that weren't actually securing the data. But look at El Paso. They just opened the state's first mechanical runaway truck ramp.
Oh, I saw that. On Loop 375, they used a dragnet system instead of a gravel pit.
Yes, 8 energy-absorbing net stations. It can stop a 90,000-pound rig doing 90 miles per hour. And since it's mechanical, it only takes 4 hours to reset. No more digging a truck out of 3 feet of gravel for 2 days.
That's a game changer for infrastructure. It's a safety-first play that actually respects the equipment.
Speaking of respecting the equipment, Buck, you were talking earlier about the chemistry under the hood.
I mean, I'm telling you, the magic isn't in the GPS, It's in the oil. API just updated the 1509 standard. The new PC12 oil category is finally official.
Is this the stuff for the 2027 emissions targets?
You bet. We're looking at a 75% reduction in NOx. They're splitting the category into CL4, which is your heavy-duty backward-compatible workhorse, and FB4, which is a low-viscosity fuel saver.
My thing is, how does the low viscosity stuff affect long-term engine life? If I'm managing a risk portfolio, I'm worried about engine failures at 200,000 miles.
That's the chemistry magic, Elena. They're claiming better wear protection with thinner oil. I'm skeptical. I like my oil like I like my gravy, thick and reliable. But the EPA isn't giving us a choice.
It's the volatility cocktail again. New oil, new engines, higher costs.
Well, that actually brings us to the biggest story on the desk today. The ghost in the machine might finally be getting an exorcism.
You mean the DEF sensors?
You know it. The Diesel Engine Flexibility Act, the DEF Act, just advanced through the House subcommittee. We are talking about a permanent legal shield against those software-mandated engine derates.
Look, this is a massive win for the industry. For years, we've had 500 horsepower rigs turning into 5-mile-per-hour paperweights because a $50 plastic sensor got a whiff of bad air.
Actually, while I support driver safety, my concern is the compliance gap. If the EPA stops requiring limp mode, what's to stop a carrier from just ignoring the emission system entirely?
The bill covers that, Elena. It doesn't mean you can run dirty. It just means the truck doesn't leave you stranded on a sub-zero highway shoulder in Wyoming because of a sensor glitch. It shifts the enforcement from a hardware kill switch to a 10-year safe harbor for drivers.
Well, it's sort of about treating the driver like a professional instead of a criminal, right? I mean, my shippers hate it when a load is late because of electronic theater.
Exactly. It's bipartisan, too. You've got Fishbach and Don Davis leading the charge. They're realizing that limp mode is actually a safety hazard. If you're stuck on a narrow bridge because your DEF sensor failed, that's more dangerous than a tiny bit of extra NOx for 50 miles.
I mean, I've seen it happen. I've been that guy. You're watching the countdown on the dash, praying you get to a shop before the computer decides to pull the plug. It's the most helpless feeling in the world.
I suppose the audible and visual alerts are a better middle ground. It puts the responsibility back on the operator and the fleet manager.
Bottom line, this is the first time in a decade we've seen a rollback of a hard regulatory hardware requirement. It's a huge shift in the philosophy of the EPA.
It's a common sense victory. We need clean air, sure, but we need the nation's blood to keep moving. This bill ensures that the limp mode era is finally coming to an end.
And that's sort of the theme for today, isn't it? Navigating the messy reality of the road, while the technology and the legislation tries to catch up.
You said it, Jules. Whether it's oil prices, AI agents, or DEF sensors, you gotta keep your eyes on the horizon and your hand on the wheel.
That does it for us here at the High Road. From the collapse of the Hormuz truce to the potentially massive win for drivers with the DEF Act, it's been a busy Thursday in the logistics world. Remember, your freight moves on relationships, even when the software is doing the talking.
Keep it on the straight and narrow.
Watch those margins.
Stay compliant, everyone.
We'll see you in the next lane.